Hello, hi, welcome back to another Alisa episode. Wow, I felt so excited and, very shocked of me filming YouTube so frequently like that. I actually found the passion of filming, of being a content creator again, and I barely made it. Today's 26th of May, so we are already passing the very first 6 months of 2026, and I felt like, wow, is a big deal. It's really a big deal, especially when I figure out my 23rd birthday is about to come. My birthday is actually on the 1st of July, so it's just 1 month ahead. Yeah, sometimes I felt like, should age become something that I really care about? But for now, it's actually something I care about, not just a number. As I grow older, it really changed the way I view things and the way that I perceive everything. But of course, it's in a very positive way. So yeah, I still enjoy being 23 girl and enjoy being a Generation Z girl. Although sometimes, it's not a very easy truth. It really helps me to have more power, to have more rights, and to have more capability of doing something that I cannot do earlier or now. So yeah, happy 23. You guys, probably if you watched the very previous Alice Talk episode, you probably know that I am, at the same time, a corporate girly, once again. And not only are just a content creator like this, actually, once again, I'm not against being a corporate girly. And I also told you that if I return to the corporate, it's going to be something creative. Of course, it still have some struggling time or moment, but I felt like I still can really bear it. And yeah, because I'm living in a very creative environment, people allow me to be myself and people allow me to, promote my idea. That's something that I seek for from being a corporate girly. And today I'm gonna share some of the truth or something that I wish I realized earlier when I started becoming, a corporate girly. I become a corporate girly quite early. Maybe back in the day, I was just like 21. And my very first internship was in a construction company. It sounds crazy, right? Like, how can you really imagine a girl like this doing content creator? Being so extroverted and social can really be in a construction environment, because actually it's an environment that can be called quite traditional. Everything needs to be in place. Even in the outfit that I'm wearing, if I'm wearing this one to my company, to the construction company, it's gonna be a big problem. And I just wear a blazer, vest, or something that I have to say is very traditional. I worked for that company around 2 months or so. I finished my internship and then I started to focus on my graduation thesis. And then I moved forward to become an intern again in an e-com environment. And I worked for my old company as an intern and as an official employee for 1 year before I moved to the very current company. So I think I had some of the very experiences, some of the tips also to actually promote to you guys that 21 girl would definitely know in that moment about being a corporate girly. So the first thing first, job is not everything. Job is just one part of your life. When I started working, I just felt like I need to really perform very well. I need to be very precise, be on time, doing everything with my 100% best, 100% energy to actually show to my leader, okay, I had the capability to be an official employee. I can really gain a better salary. I even worked overtime. Yeah, I worked overtime mostly during my first internship. I stayed at the company at around 6 or 7 p.m., although it's already ended at 5:30. And imagine, because it's a construction company and I started working at around 8 a.m. in the morning. And also I worked in the Saturday morning. If I worked overtime, it's gonna be like my whole life working. But I accepted because I thought at that time I didn't really have any practical experiences and knowledge. So I need to really, abuse my health. It actually left me with some of the mental and also physical problem. Like I have a very back pain. I have a nearsighted eyes, very depressing moments when I felt like, should I really keep continuing doing this one? And I questioned that day over day. Even when I come to the second company, it's the same scenario. Yet during our youth, it's very important focusing on working because it's the only way for us to have a better future. I didn't oppose it. The very natural truth that everybody goes through. And from my perspective and what I want to mean is that don't ever take job as the only thing in our life, and take jobs or careers the must one. You would ignore everything else just because of work. Imagine if you had an appointment with one of your relatives or your close friend to really work overtime, and then you don't really go to that appointment. And imagine they are the relatives that you already missed out for a long time. Don't ever take job above everything else. It's gonna be unnecessary sacrifice. And another thing about being a corporate girly or being a corporate person is that coworkers are coworkers. They are not our friends. It's gonna be a very big luck if you have a very close coworker who can really be your friend as well during daily lives. But if not, it's a totally normal truth. It's something that's very normal because when I started working, there's someone who I consider very, very nice, very gentle, and very like helpful. They helped me a lot in doing my daily task, and I take it like a privilege of having someone, a very nice coworkers helping me on my daily task. So I wanted them to be my close friend during daily lives. I ignore the truth that our personalities are not the perfect fit. We are not for each other for the personality, which is like coworker doing the daily work at the company. It makes me and that person become so, how can I say, so apart when I actually quitted the job. Sometimes people help me or helps you at the company because it's actually affect the whole system, and also it affects them obviously if we do not really finish that task on time. I'm still feel very grateful for the help of those co-workers. Yeah, especially when I started working, I even don't know how to use Excel. I even don't know how to use the Microsoft. It's a nightmare. Yeah, it's a long journey. But they had really helped me on that and also guide me through the working process, the working flow, what I need to do on a daily basis. That's something I felt very grateful, having the guidance, the guidelines, and the help from them. But yeah, don't take it as a privilege. It's just something that even not me, I think the other intern, any other intern, they will receive the same benefit. Don't ever take it as a privilege. And don't ever take coworker as a friend. But I still hope that you can really find a coworker who are this, like-minded, and you can really share things and you can really talk to them, especially when the workload is too heavy, and having someone to, talk shit is quite fun. Yeah. Hope you will have a coworker who's nice and who can really be easygoing. Okay, another thing that I learned from being a corporate girly is stress is something indispensable. Pressure is actually there. We cannot reject or we cannot ignore that even if we are so good at managing things, we will feel stressed and we'll feel burnt out. And burnt out is something I already, experienced hundreds of times in my life, even during my university, not just at work. So it's something that we cannot go away or we cannot escape, but we need to really go through it. We need to know and we need to learn the way to cope with stress because something so indispensable, so obvious, so obvious that everybody will feel the same way. Even if your leader, they are already very good, very specialized in that industry, they will still feel burnt out and they still feel overwhelmed, especially during, the peak hours, the peak period. Don't ever escape stress and let it become a friend of you who you can really talk to, you can manage, and you have, a soft conversation with yourself in order to manage the very negative feeling within you. And then you can really figure out a way, try to actually befriend with pressure at corporate. The fourth things that I figure out in from corporate girly is we will not stick to the company forever. Yeah, it can be, the main career that you're following, but you will not hinder yourself or prevent yourself of having other joy, other career, other jobs assigned that main career. You need to really, have another source of income as well. Don't ever just stay dependent on one job and one company. I don't think it's a good and wise decision to actually just stick to one company and, living your whole energy, giving everything that you have, your time, your energy, even your money on one job. Because for me, the change is indispensable once again. And change is something that we have to face. Even if your company doesn't really, go through any economic crisis, the market will. And the market is something that we have to accept that we are part of the market. And we are part of a very changeable market. And I am doing something about economics as well. So this industry, it has a very natural, inevitable truth is it is changeable. It changes day by day. So how can you be sure that you can really stick to one company and you have a very stable income for your whole life? Of course, I would see people being so successful, being leaders, being the board of directors or something. But I do think maybe they will have another income as well. Yeah, just for their safety and something that I can feel certain that if they lose the main career, the main job, they still have money or they can still earn the money for the daily stocks like that. So don't ever take your company as just one solution and one way of earning money. I've been the teacher, like an English teacher, for about 4 years. And of course, it's just a part time job for now, but it's something that I quite enjoy. Yeah, it's helped me to actually prolong my English speaking like that. But also I met quite a lot of interesting people, and it's part of also another income that I had, and also from these thing content creating. Although I didn't really earn much of it, but some sort of income, just small one. And maybe the last one that I learned about corporate that helps you a lot in your practical knowledge. You will gain so much of the hands-on experiences by working for the corporate. You can really know how a business really operates, human resources department to business development department to operation, marketing, legal, technology as well. One day, if you become a startup or you become a founder, obviously you would have the basic knowledge of how to operate your business in the right way. And you're gonna have much of a precious relationships as well. It's something that if you just like do everything on your own, you cannot seek for it, and you would not have many people supporting you. But if you work a corporate or corporation, you will feel that okay, you had the relationship. So once you actually ask them for help the right way in a very suitable way, I think they're gonna help you, and they're gonna give you the advice on how to actually be a founder. And that's a very cool thing. I think a very fun and mind blowing experience if you actually have a business for you in the future. I really, really, really appreciate working for a corporate. So yeah, that's something I already figured out during my time working for a company. And once again, I'm not against being a corporate girly. It's just that I need to find the right environment. And sometimes I don't know in the future, like at some point in my life, the suitable environment is being a freelancer once again. And who knows, it's gonna be my home again. So I can't say anything for you guys because, future is unpredictable. Have your own personal life, not just the corporate life. Be a fully developed person. Thank you so much for watching today's Alice Talks. It's such an honor for me to have you guys here. And yeah, maybe see you in the next Alice Talk episode that I will talk about maybe corporate, maybe content creating, or maybe other topics that I think I can really share to all of you guys. Thank you so much for being here and see you next time in another Alice Talk episode. Bye!